Hi ladies and gents and those on the fence, welcome back to my channel. Just to get this out of the way, I am tired as shit and have allergies, so I swear I'm fine. But the other day, I had someone ask about my trans journey, details about like timeline and accessibility to treatment and whatnot, so I figured I would do my best to give a TLDR type of story. So first, I started socially transitioning in about 2019. Although I had always known that I was different, I just didn't know in what capacity. Because I grew up in a time when there wasn't a lot of education and visibility, and so I really didn't have the resources to figure out who I was until later in life. In 2019, and I know what I'm about to say is extremely controversial, but in 2019 I was in the police academy, and I had accidentally ended up at the front of the pack and leading a group run. Someone had shouted, "She's a whole ass dude," and I kind of never went back. That really started like digging into who I was and who I wanted to be. I started chemically transitioning in June of 2020, and what I mean by this is that's when I started testosterone. I had a couple months prior met with my primary care doctor and their team because one, I was switching providers, but two, I was coming to them with like a whole well-rounded care desire. They were also going to be taking care of my trans needs as well as my like regular primary care stuff. So that interview was about an hour and a half long, and they asked me questions about my identity and family history and things like that. And then I started taking testosterone not too much longer. And I take testosterone via IM injection, which is just a shot to the muscles every week. But there are various ways to get it. You can get subcutaneous, which is like just under the skin into the fat. You can get an intramuscular shot. You can get gel, which is kind of just feels like aloe vera, and you rub it in and wear that. There are pills. There are, similar to like birth control, like under the skin hormone injections. There are a lot of ways to take testosterone, but I just felt more comfortable with the route that I chose, and my doctor fully supported that choice. So I covered when I started socially transitioning, chemically transitioning, and then I had to be on testosterone for about a year. I live in Massachusetts, and at the time, I think I had Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I had to wait about a year in order to consider any type of gender-affirming surgeries, or to get approved for any gender-affirming surgeries. So after a year, I then had to get a letter, and basically it was a packet. It was probably like this thick. My doctor had to put together information to send to a couple of plastic surgeons, and it's almost like a job interview and sending out a resume, in the fact that like I went with the first doctor that chose me, because I really believed in his work and it looked really, really good, and I'm very happy with the result. And then, so you have to go for like a couple of consults before you have your top surgery. So I started taking testosterone in June of 2020, and then I had top surgery in November of 2022. And my healing was not the best. It also wasn't the worst, but I ended up having drains in me for a little bit longer. So the healing time was from November of 2022 until like the beginning of January of 2023. And there's also a bunch of different kinds of top surgery that you can get. That one is not really up to choice, unlike your method of testosterone. People who have a smaller chest are able to get what's called keyhole surgery, where they kind of just cut around the nipple and take out the tissue from the nipple and then sew back around, so there's barely any scars. But because I had a super large chest, I ended up having to have scars like this. And at first, when I was considering top surgery, I was really, really nervous about having scars and having it be obvious. And now, like, I kind of love them. Like, I really, really do. The top surgery that I had, they removed all of the breast tissue. And, like, thankfully, even though it was technically a cosmetic surgery, I also am a carrier for the breast cancer gene in my family. So it was, like, more... My situation was more insurance friendly, if that makes sense. I can imagine there might be a little bit more fight to get top surgery if there isn't, like, any underlying causes that insurance thinks is necessary, if that makes sense. I digress. But yeah, I really liked my scars, and I still love my scars, and I'm so grateful that I did top surgery. And so, yeah, it's wild to think that June of this year is going to be 4 years on testosterone. Yeah, that's the short version. If you have questions, please, 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 please ask. I would really love to take this video as an opportunity to elaborate on things. So, be safe, drink water, go take your meds.